Okay, people. Hi. Loving you today so much. Yeah, dude. I love all y'all out there so much. Life is tough right now. It's gonna get tougher before it gets better as we go through this tunnel that we're in right now. Okay. So I'm going to read from this book about engineering human consciousness. Chapter 4, Tav-i-stock. One prominent locus of world control, its influence spreading through the media, the scientific establishment, corporations, governments, and the military, is the Tav-i-stock Institute. Tav-i-stock, a collaborative effort of British military intelligence and the psychiatric establishment, was created in 1921, reportedly on the orders of members of the Royal Institute of International Affairs, also known as Chatham House. The RIIA is an arm of the British Rhodes Round Table Group, founded by British imperialist and Freemason Cecil Rhodes. The Round Table, functioning through a myriad of offshoots, has been this century's most effective proponent for the creation of a one-world government. Tav-i-stock relies on grants for its operations from the Rockefellers, Carnegies, the British Home Office, and large anonymous grants. Initially run by British military intelligence officer Major John Rawlings, from its inception, Tav-i-stock was intended as a coordinating center for planetary social control using psychological shock troops. A term coined by Rees. Whew. These shock troops in white lab coats have fanned out across the planet, infiltrating organizations in order to implement policies deemed productive by the organization's strategists. At core, Tav-i-stock consists of Freemasonic British intelligence agents collaborating with the Hydra heads of world psychiatry to achieve two goals. 1. A one-world order where the nation-state has been abolished and a single totalitarian control center established. 2. The simultaneous psychological control of the world. The simultaneous psychological control of the world using their term, societry. This is real, folks. Even the official literature of Tav-i-stock is candid in admitting its broad world mind control orientation. In 1932, German psychologist Kurt Lewin, one of the creators of the American OSS intelligence network, precursor to the CIA. Did you get that? Did you catch that? Let's go back. In 1932, German psychologist Kurt Lewin, one of the creators of the American OSS Institute, intelligence network, precursor to the CIA, took over the steering of Tav-i-stock from Rees. Lewin was an early proponent of the use of trauma for reprogramming both individuals and societies. His modus operandi, possibly more than merely an analog of the Freemason dictum ordo ab chaos, meaning order out of chaos. So trauma-based mind control, simply put. Lewin's theory was the origin and definition of the concept of future shock, written by Tav-i-stock associated Alvin Toffler. Although Toffler promotes the idea that current cultural deconstruction and leveling is an accident, it is not. This Tav-i-stock signature approach, this future shock, deprogramming of the subject to a vegetative state through torture and trauma, for subsequent reprogramming, is the recurring methodology for world mind control as well as cultural programming in the 20th century. This was written in 1999, folks, right at the turn into the 21st century. Dr. William Sargent of the Tav-i-stock Institute reported to have been at the time working in the CIA's MK-Ultra mind control program in his 1957 book, Battle for the Mind, A Physiology of Conversion, Coercion, and Brainwashing. Elaborated on Lewin's theories by stating, hold on, itchy, itch. Whew. Various beliefs can be implanted in many people after brain function has been sufficiently disturbed by accidentally or deliberately induced fear, anger, or excitement. Of the results called by such disturbances, the most common one is temporarily impaired judgment and heightened suggestibility. Its various group manifestations are sometimes classed under the heading of herd instinct, groupthink, and appear most spectacularly in wartime, during severe epidemics, and in all similar periods of common danger, which increase anxiety and so individual and mass suggestibility. During World War II, Tav-i-stock ran the British Psychological Warfare Directorate, and the group maintained its military operation after the war. Tav-i-stock agents have penetrated American intelligence agencies, psychiatric institutions, industry, media, and political organisms, firmly guiding those bodies in alignment with the purposes of the Tav-i-stock controllers. Spreading out from Tav-i-stock, agents have been present at the creation of institutional centers such as the Stanford Research Institute's Center for Advanced Behavioral Sciences, the Sloan School at MIT, the Wharton School of Finance and Business Administration, at the University of Pennsylvania, the Institute for Social Research at the University of Michigan, and other locations. The Tav-i-stock network has also influenced and penetrated such groups as Esalen, the Rand Corporation, the Hudson Institute, and the Heritage Foundation. A key thrust of Tav-i-stock has been accomplished by the National Training Laboratories, sponsoring group encounter or sensitivity programs involved in breaking down an individual's personality and reconstructing it along lines agreeable to the group. A microcosmic intervention intended to gradually bring about the macrocosm of the New World Order. It is estimated that millions of persons have been put through this type of processing, including most of America's corporate leaders and officials from the State Department, the Navy, the Department of Education, and the National Education Association. Although touted as a tool for personal and organizational liberation, sensitivity programs are also an effective tool for control along the lines the group leader desires, as has been effectively demonstrated through the use of similar methods in cultic groups such as those of Charles Manson and Jim Jones. Tav-i-stock is invariably portrayed in its literature as being a non-political organism, but the lie is apparent. As an example, one recent Tav-i-stock project is Smart Cards, a pilot program done in collaboration with Manchester Metropolitan University on behalf of the European Commission. This project is for putting a person's work history and skills, including academic accreditation, onto a single ID card, is being carried out in Europe and in America, and is intended to gradually facilitate the creation of a universally policed and regulated world economic system. That was a very short chapter. So Tav-i-stock, and that ends on page 33. Okay, so I'm wondering if I should go, let me see how many, 1, 2, 3. No, way too long. Okay, I'll read chapter 5 another day, tomorrow. So that was only 12 minutes. Did I see you in a movie? You could have, Rico. I've been in a lot of movies. I don't know what movie you're referring to, though. Okay, so I want to talk about Tav-i-stock for a moment. So, this information is, I don't think I've ever shared this publicly, but a relative of mine decided to donate his sperm to the Tav-i-stock Institute for the betterment of human beings and for creating humans in a test tube petri dish. And subsequently, my DNA was also donated for the use of creating soldiers that are super. And as a child, I had no idea what was happening. I was just being tortured, so I didn't understand at all what was going on. And now I understand that those humans that were created in those petri dishes became who they became, and that I was then somehow responsible for them. And that became a, what do you call it? A threat or a torture threat to create trauma within my system, within my nervous system, to enhance my central nervous system being traumatized, and therefore me never talking, me never speaking to the truth of what I know and what I've experienced, right? So through programs that happened, and I was witness to like sequential, so that's the way to say it, I guess, sequential torture sessions where children were murdered in front of me. So, and they all had my DNA. So, yeah, go figure. Figure that one out, huh? It sounds like crazy talk, right? But it's actually true. And these are the types of things that are administered through this organization that I just spoke of, and through the like secret military programs that exist. So I'll just leave it at that. You know, partly the reason why I've decided to read this book is because it gives me a way to focus on my own story and focus on being able to share my experience with these things, because they're literally written in this book and like I lived it. So it gives me an opportunity to sort of like focus on that particular thing and tell a story about it, because I'm good at telling the story of my life. Just like it's so like fragmented. It's not fragmented in my brain, but it's fragmented in terms of how I tell it. And so it helps to have a focal point for me to be able to communicate and get it out there, right? So I hope that was a seed that was planted that you could just take in and just process and experience for a moment. And as you can see, I'm not traumatized even sharing my story at this point, because I've been through it and I've processed it out so far that like now it has been integrated. So through my series of events in my life, I have been able to integrate and release the trauma out of my cellular matrix, which was connected to these events, right? And more always comes up, which is interesting to me. I'm like, how much freaking more stuff could possibly be there? But there's always more. Just saying. I discover things a lot that I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe that that's another layer. You know, that's another layer of my life that has revealed itself to me at the perfect timing to be able to process and integrate it and not lose my fucking mind, literally. And because I have developed a system of healing now that works for me and others, it helps me to have a protocol to be able to do this work and to not lose my mind. Yeah. So I think that's all I'm going to say today. I'm feeling like it's just short and sweet, and it's good enough for right now. And I'm sending you so many blessings. If you're feeling raw right now, the best way to counteract the emotional body, in my experience, is getting into nature and getting on the earth and allowing her to support you. If you can't do that, you can take a bath. Anything that can shift your energetics in your central nervous system is always supportive. And then if you have any support for your central nervous system, like Rescue Remedy or something like that, that gives you an opportunity to support your system using cell salts or Rescue Remedy or some type of thing that will support your central nervous system specifically. We are electrical beings, right? And right now, because of the trauma that's in the field, it makes it very difficult for us to not feel traumatized by what other people are experiencing right now, because the veil is lifting, the veil is releasing itself. So it's all now one consciousness that is moving through the space, right? So now it's like all of a sudden we have all these things happening, but we can feel everything even more than we felt them before, right? So as the veil lifts and continues to lift, there's not going to be a barrier there for us, you know, for normal human beings who don't, you know, look at these things the way that maybe we do. So it's just interesting, and it's good to take note of what's happening in the world, and also really take care of yourself. Like really, really take care of yourself right now, and love yourself through this time. Make sure that you're grounded. Make sure that you're fed. Make sure that you have a bath or a shower and you're transmuting that frequency and flushing it through, and making sure that you cry or do whatever you need to do to keep that energy flowing and not let it get stuck inside of you. Okay? I'm sending you so much love. So much love. From my heart to yours. You be well. I love you.